Assalamu alaikum fam, happy Ramadan. Let's continue our refutation of this inaccurate Muslim book that is very popular amongst American Muslims and is causing dissension in the Muslim Ummah and is being promoted by Nick Cannon, Ice Cube, and others. So, let's continue this refutation. He contends here, alright, the black people, and especially the so-called blank, are now in the very area where God has said to me. Notice how he says, God said to me. That the fire often referred to as the fire of hell or hellfire will begin, which will destroy the present wicked white race of America first. Okay, wait a minute here. Where is that written in the Quran that it says anything that white people will be targeted first? It's about deeds, is it not? And where in the Quran does it mention anything about America? America did not even exist at that time in the concept as he speaks of it. The Native American tribes, the indigenous, were here, right? Where does it say that? No imam has ever said that, who is well trained, that whites will be picked first. It's quite absurd. Let's continue. The sins of the white race are far worse and more pungent to the nostril of God than the sins of Sodom and Gomorrah. Holy moly with guacamole. Wait a minute. Wait a second here. Sodom and Gomorrah their actions was the issue, not the color of their skin, right? It was the actions in their transgression and of disobedience to their messengers and edicts, right, that they were supposed to do with their activity, right? Notice how he's mixing his own political propaganda with religious aims. Big tactic of sophists. The fire of hell is not intended for the so-called black people. So, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. He's changing the holy word of Allah to say that based on the color of your skin, you will not be punished for your malicious deeds simply based on your skin shade. So what did he say? The sins of white people are worse to the nostril of God, and they will be punished first, but if you are of a darker shade, you won't touch the hellfire. Where is that written in the Quran? Where is that written? No. Deeds are written, not your skin shade. That's absurd. Completely absurd. So are you saying that a white person who is virtuous and good will be punished simply because they're pale skin that burns in the sun, but somebody who commits a genocide amongst people, if they're a bit darker, will not get punished at all? What's going on here? He doesn't give the proper citations, and when he does cite Quranic verses, he manipulates it for a political aim. Let's continue. Only those who, after hearing this teaching of the truth which I am giving to you, and the warnings of Allah God, will willfully hold on to the white race and their religion Christianity. So, the white race, again, separating the Ummah, right? Putting white Muslims against black Muslims. Again, this is why you have to study rhetoric and politics and be able to read and have due diligence to study Islamic theology and Christian theology so that you can see how these race baiters, these people filled with hate, will use their religion to further spread malice. This is what is causing so much problems in America, is by people promoting this. Now let's continue with his hatred here. He says the so-called blank are made so poisoned by this wicked race of devils. Again, he doesn't say the bad jinns, right? He doesn't say jinns at all in his book. And he doesn't say a lot of things about shaitan. Again, he attributes everything to the simple pigmentation of your organ on the outside of your body. Race of devils. He uses holistic language here, generalization. He doesn't say deeds of some. He says race of devils. It's quite clear. He says it over and over and over. that they love them more than they love their own people. It is really because of the evil done to them by the American white race that Allah God has put them on his list. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on. What did he just say? He's saying that Allah has made American whites on a list to be destroyed. Where is that written in the Quran? Where is that written? Where is that written in the tafsir? Where is that in any hadith? Did the Prophet Muhammad say that? Peace be upon him? Do not think so. What about American Muslims like myself, who are pale? Wait a minute. So I'm going to be destroyed even if I said my shahada and I try to do my best to follow the rules of Islam? So I'm going to be put on a list by Allah because I happened to be born in this specific location? What? That does not make theological sense. It appears here that we have a political agenda. Let's continue. As the first to be destroyed. Wait a minute. Who can say that who's going to be destroyed first? Is he contending that he can speak for Allah? Wait a minute. Where did Allah say that any race will be destroyed first in the Quran? Again, some people have contended that this is what a lot of people say about English translations. They say, oh, the real Quranic language uses race language, but they change it because of human rights when it's shipped to America to be sold. I don't know that. I don't speak Arabic yet, but I'm sure many of you could say, well, this is quite insane. Quite insane, not true. But do you see how he does it here? Using race to separate people, to pit us against each other, to cause tension, genocide, and war. Let's continue. The others will be given little longer to live. Wait a minute. The term appointed of our lives is only known by Allah. Only Allah knows the unseen. No one knows their day of death. So how can this human say that because of your skin shade, you will be given a longer time to live? Where is that written? Never heard that in the Quran. Wait a minute here. And this guy claims to be a Muslim? Claims to be somebody who studied? Even in the Bible, it does not say that. He doesn't. What do you mean? Now listen. He says, as the Prophet Daniel says, 7:11-19 in Revelation 9:20, believe it or let it alone. The above refers to America. Now a lot of people love saying this about America, that, because of people doing a certain action, that all of America deserves to be destroyed. This is quite strange. Let's continue. She is the only white government out of the European race that answers a description of the symbolic fourth beast. Wow. So he is quite filled with hate. Yes, there was a lot of whites who, the founding fathers, yes, they came over from England. Yes, descendants of the Anglo-Saxons and such. They came over here, they fought with the natives, like most colonization, Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan. That's how people spread out the earth back then. I mean, to call America the fourth beast is, pretty intense. Because if you look all over the world, plenty of countries have bad infrastructure, internal civil wars. Humans like fighting. They do. And you could say the fourth beast argument to any geographical location. And today we're getting more and more different races in the systems of government. At this particular time, in this, in the 1400s, 1500s, the reason why they were white is because that's where they came from and they came over here. Right? It is quite sad how hateful he is. Quite hateful. And today, so many Latinos are coming here, and more races and race mixing is happening. So today you cannot just say that it's all white. It is majority white nation, but that is fastly changing. So, come on, have some love, but he does not have love. Let's continue. The so-called blanks are warned to come out of her America. Revelation 18:4. Now, wait a minute. This is interesting because I've heard the other argument where the Christians who came over were arguing that America was the land of milk and honey. It was a new frontier. When the pilgrims and such came over, they wanted to escape the monarchy and the Catholic Church. And they wanted to have, especially the Irish, They wanted to leave. There was the potato famine. It was a horrible time for them. And when they came to America, they wanted to have freedom in land and not to have feudalism anymore, right? He's saying, because blacks were slaves for a particular time, that they should go out. Now, the Cherokees, the Iroquois, plenty of tribes, they loved America. This was their land. They wanted to stay here. You see how he pits the natives against black people and whites against blacks? It's quite intense here. Deep racial tensions. How does that serve peace? Think about it. How does that serve peace? Let's continue. Though the truth of Daniel and Revelations could not be told until the time of the end of this prophecy. See how he's using biblical prophecy to talk about America and race and Daniel? You see, this is a big problem when you have sophists, scammers, CIA operatives, and people who are not diligent in their theological studies, who will use their own interpretations to say, certain political agendas. It's quite sad. Quite sad. I mean, it's really horrible. Further, let's go down here a little bit. It says, the Bible means good if you can rightly understand it. Okay, well, he's already demonstrated that he cannot really say that he understood it. Tyler saying, I understand there's like the Freemason Manly P. Hall talks about the secret destiny of America and all that crap. But again, people mix so much, the Theosophists and the Sophists. It's quite insane. To think there's too much emphasis put on America, to be honest. It's just another landmass. But let's continue. My interpretation of it is given to me from the Lord of the worlds. This is another point where I don't like with him, is he's always saying Allah told him, Allah told him. I don't know about that. I know you're not supposed to say inspired. We have to watch our language, right? You have to be careful. He contends, yours is your own, and from the enemies of truth, the so-called blanks will be the lucky ones. That is, if they stop following and practicing the evils and indecent doings of this wicked and doomed race of devils. So, again, he's saying that all white people are a race of devils who are doomed solely based on the color of their skin. I mean, quite clearly, it's pretty brutal, his deep resentment because of a particular time period of horrific slavery. Lacking in forgiveness and lacking in much. Lots of pain that has not been healed in his heart. Whose true self has been a secret for 6,000 years. So he, has this 6,000 years thing to really believe. He says that Jacob is the father of white people, and that Jacob created devil white people 6,000 years ago. Associating partners and dominions is not Islamic. It is not Islamic. So we have to watch out for that. Clearly here you can see already, with a couple clips that I have done, that books like this do nothing but to hurt Islam in America and are a weapon of political tools that seek to cause dissension. So we have to watch out for that. So hopefully this will help you to understand. And clearly, God does not care about race. It's about deeds. And you're not supposed to attribute partners to Allah. Allah is one God. You cannot speak on behalf of God or claim to get these divine revelations like the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did. That's just blasphemy. So let me know what you think.